Life just kind of sucks sometimes. I think we can all pretty much agree on that. We've had our fair share of difficult times, of difficult moments, things we wish had went a different way. For me, though, what's often scariest in these difficult times is that I feel like there's no one around me to help me out of the hole that I'm in. I feel like I'm going it alone, like the only person I have that I can rely on or turn to is pretty much myself. In times like this, I often go to friends, and I dread the friend. There's always the one friend that gives you the response, well, Wes, you're never alone because God is always with you. While I think that's really true, I kind of hate it when people give me that response because it feels sort of insensitive and kind of out of touch with what I'm going through and with what I'm experiencing. Even though I know it's true, God's often the last thing on my mind, and when He is, I often want to yell and scream at Him for making me go through something bad instead of coming to Him in a time of worship or prayer, something a little more beautiful looking, I suppose. But it's in times like this I get great comfort out of Psalm 13. That's the verse we're looking at today, and it's been an incredible help to me in tough times. It reminds me that Christian spirituality and following Jesus is real, it's authentic, even when it's messy sometimes. Psalm 13 was written by a guy named David, and if you've read the Bible, you've probably come across this guy a few times. David is widely regarded as one of the greatest followers of God to ever live. In fact, the Bible calls him a man after God's own heart. When I read Psalm 13, it really encourages me because David lets loose on God. He tells him how he's really thinking, how he's really feeling. He tells God that he feels abandoned, that he doesn't feel like he's there. He kind of basically says to God, why have you forsaken me? That's a real comfort to me because David's a man after God's own heart. And if David has moments like that, I don't feel so bad when I have them too. I think it says a lot about the God that we serve, that He's okay with us throwing our stuff at Him. He's okay with us letting loose on Him. I don't have to tiptoe around like I'm walking on eggshells trying to avoid hurting God's feelings. He wants me to let Him know how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. Hebrews 4:15 reminds us that we have a God who sympathizes with our experiences, and that includes the bad ones, the ones I'd rather forget. You see, God became a man in Jesus Christ, and He went through His share of tough times as well. He knows what I'm going through. He knows what I'm experiencing. He can empathize with me in my pain. I get a lot of comfort out of that. In this way that I don't understand, when I let loose on God, when I give God my junk, when I say, God, why are you so far away? I'm actually drawing closer to God. David had the most intimate relationship with God out of probably any person that lived besides Jesus. And his writings are filled with psalms, just like Psalm 13, that accuse God of being far off, distant, even removed from His present situation. James 4:8 promises that as we draw near to God, He draws near to us as well. Sometimes for me, that's the greatest comfort and the greatest peace of all. So today, as you go about, as you think, as you reflect, as you pray, as you read, I want to encourage you, take some time to be honest with God. Regardless of where you're at, let God know what you're thinking. What are you feeling? Do you feel like He's far off and distant? Do you maybe have something you want to accuse God of? Maybe you're angry with God, disappointed, confused, scared. God wants to know it, even if it's not the most flattering thing to say to Him. God actually likes that because in those times we draw close to Him. So today, I want to give you permission to be honest, be open. You might be surprised at what happens.